Hello everyone. In this video, we will be seeing about the introduction to Indian Constitution. Particularly, we will be seeing about the directive state principles. So there are four directive state principles. First of all, we should know that what is a directive state principle. Okay, so before going to that, there are four types of directive principles of state policy, which is socialistic principle, Gandhian principle, liberal principle, and general or miscellaneous principle. The directive principles of state policy are guidelines to the central and state government of India to be kept in mind while framing laws and policies. These provisions contained in Part 4 of the Constitution of India are not enforceable by any court, but the principles laid down therein are considered fundamental in the government of the country. The principles have been inspired by the directive principles given in the Constitution of Ireland and also by the principles of Gandhism and relate to social justice, economic welfare, foreign policy and legal administrative matters. The idea of such policies can be traced to the Declaration of Rights of Man proclaimed revolutionary France and the Declaration of Independence by the American colonies. The Indian Constitution was also influenced by the United Nations Universal Declaration of Human Rights. DPSP aims to create social and economic conditions under which the citizens can lead a good life. They also aim to establish social and economic democracy through a welfare state. They act as a check on the government. There are four types of directive principles of state policy, that is socialistic principle, Gandhian principle, liberal principle and general miscellaneous principle. So there are the state to secure a social order for the promotion of welfare of the people and certain principles of the policy to be followed by the state. They are that the citizens, men and women, equally have the right to adequate means of livelihood, that the ownership and control of the material resources of the community are so distributed as to production to the common serve the common good. Operation of the economic system does not result in concentration of wealth and means of production to common determined. There is equal pay for equal work for both men and women. Health and strength of workers, men and women, and tender of age children are not abused, and that citizens are not enforced by economic necessity to enter avocations unsuited to their age or strength. The children are given opportunities and facilities to develop in healthy manner and in conditions of freedom and dignity, and that the children and the youth are protected against exploitation, against moral and material abandonment. Equal justice and free legal aid. The state shall secure that the operation of a legal system promote justice on the basis of equal opportunity, and shall in particular provide free legal aid by suitable legislation or schemes in any other way to ensure that opportunities for securing justice are not denied by any citizen by reason of economic or other disabilities. The organization of village panchayats, right to work, to education and to public assistance in certain cases, provision for just and human conditions of work and maternity relief, living wages etc. for workers, participation of workers in management of industries, uniform civil code for the citizens, provisions for free and compulsory education for children, promotion of educational and economic interest of scheduled caste, scheduled tribes and other weaker sections, protection of monuments and places and objects of national importance, protection and improvement of environment and safeguarding of forest and wildlife, organization of agriculture and animal husbandry. So these are about some of the directive state principles, and promotion of international peace and security. So the state shall endeavor to promote international peace and security and maintain a just and honorable relation between nations, foster respect for international law and treaty obligations in the dealings of the organized people with one another, and encourage settlement of international disputes by arbitration. Okay, so these are some of the directive state principle policies. And the next is about the fundamental duties. So it shall be the duty of every citizen in India to abide by the constitution and respect its ideals and institutions, the national flag and the national anthem, to cherish and follow the noble ideas which inspired by our national struggle for freedom, to uphold and protect the sovereignty, unity and integrity of nation, to defend the country and render national service when called upon to do so, to promote harmony and the spirit of common brotherhood among all the people of India, transcending religious, linguistic, regional or sectional diversities, to renounce practices derogatory to the dignity of the woman, to value and preserve the rich heritage of our composite culture, to protect and improve the natural environment including forests, lakes, rivers and wildlife, and to have compassion for living creatures, to develop scientific temper, humanism and spirit of inquiry and reform, to safeguard public property and to abjure violence, to strive towards excellence in all spheres of individuals and collective activities, so that the nation constantly rises to higher levels of endeavor and achievement. The 11th fundamental duty, which states that every citizen who is a parent or guardian to provide opportunity for education to his child, or as the case may be, what between the age of 6 and 14 years, was added by the 86th constitutional amendment in 2002. And there are 395 articles and 22 parts in a constitution. So these are the 22 parts that are as follows. So the part 1 is about the union and its territory, part 2 citizenship, part 3 fundamental rights, part 4 directive principles of state policy, part 4a fundamental duties, part 5 the union, part 6 the states, part 7 the states in part B of the first schedule, part 8 the union territories, part 9 panchayats, part 9a municipalities, part 10 the scheduled and the tribal areas, part 11 relationship between the union and the states, part 12 finance, property, contracts and suits, part 13 trade, commerce, intercourse within the territory of India, part 14 services under the union and the states, part 14a tribunals, part 15 elections, part 16 special provisions relating to certain classes, part 17 official language, part 18 emergency provisions, part 19 miscellaneous, part 20 amendment of the constitution, part 21 the temporary, transitional and special provisions, part 22 short title, commencement and authorized text in Hindi and the repels. So there are some schedules to the Indian constitution. There are 9 schedules, in which the first schedule is about the state and union territories of India. Second schedule, it is about the president, governor of states, chairman, deputy chairman, speaker, deputy chief speaker and judges of the Supreme Court and High Court, and controller and auditor general of India. Third schedule is about the form of oath or affirmations mentioned in this schedule. Fifth is about fourth schedule. It is about a schedule that specifies the allocation of seat. Fifth schedule, it is about provisions to administration and of controlled scheduled areas. Sixth is about administration of tribal areas in Assam, Meghalaya, Tripura and Mizoram. And 8th and 7th schedule, it is about the list of union or the union list 2, state list 1 and state list 2 or the concurrent list are included in this schedule. And the 8th schedule is about the 22 languages selected as the official languages of India and are mentioned in this schedule. And 9th schedule, the validation of certain acts and regulations is dealt with this schedule. So these are some of the schedules mentioned in this. So this is about the introduction to Constitution. Thank you.